Welcome into your reading for this week. I am T from Tiny Divinations, here to break down the cards with you. Before we get into it, make sure you like the video, follow the channel, and share with somebody that needs a message. So, we have our three different piles. Pick the pile or piles that resonate with you, or pick a number between 0 and 10, and the numbers for each pile will appear now. I'll see you in your reading. Welcome in pile one. Let's get into your reading. So, the cards that you chose, technically, this is your words of wisdom, so we'll get back to that. These are your energy for the week. So, we have tasks. What do you tell yourself when you look at your to do list? What does this teach you about the beliefs you hold regarding your capacity, the people in your world, and what is expected of you? How is all of this keeping you stuck? We then have water. How can water as a physical element or as a metaphor assist you in getting the clarity you need? What associations do you have with water? And how can they help you to see what actions to take to move forward here? So, part of the energy we have here, especially with the tasks, so part of the energy we have with the task card has to do to me with the things that we're doing this week. So there's energy around us either doing a lot this week, feeling overwhelmed by the things we're doing, feeling like we're not able to do all the things, feeling like we have to do everything that's on the list could also be a thing. This also could have to do with in terms of people who feel like they have to create things or stay busy. Like if you aren't doing something, then you feel like you're not accomplished or you feel like you're not doing enough, and having to sit with the fact that you may need rest, you may need to align yourself with the balance of just being sometimes, or being able to put things down and knowing that on your to-do list is nothing, you know what I mean, like putting nothing on your to-do list so that you schedule in time to do nothing. If you're somebody who's feeling overwhelmed this week, it could be about asking for help, since we have here the people in your world and what's expected of you. It could be that we have things to do this week and there are people that aren't helping us, or we're recognizing the support that we have, or like I said, do not have within the things that we have to do this week or the things that are expected of us. We could recognize this week in terms of tasks that we're putting too many or too much expectation on ourselves, um, on, like I said, the things that you need to do or how much you should be doing things. You may be putting too much expectation on yourself in terms of the time limits or the constraints you have to do something. So these are all things that may come up with the task card. And again, the question, excuse me, that's being asked is, how is all of this keeping you stuck? Okay, so if you're somebody who, like I said, this week is kind of overwhelming for you, but you're not able to ask for help, then that's something that could be keeping you stuck. If you're somebody who feels like you always constantly have to be busy and you're tiring yourself out, or you don't know how to rest, that could be keeping you stuck. If you're somebody who is not able to manage things and manage your time, the way that you should, that could be keeping you stuck. So there's a number of ways that what we have to do this week and how we get things done, how we don't get things done, may manifest and show us how we are being stuck in other ways. Okay. Then we have the water card, right? So, how can water as a physical element or as a metaphor assist you with getting clear? So, as a physical element, there may be people that there's energy this week around you, clearing the energies around you, whether you are or have been in a really emotional space, whether you are have been around, a lot of like spiritual debris, whether you are or have been feeling like you just have a lot of muck around you, you've been feeling stuck, like we talked about in the first card, then you may be somebody who needs to do some cleansing, like cleansing yourself, cleansing your space, specifically cleansing your head, doing ritual cleansing. You may want to go to the waters and cleanse, okay? There may be something about cleansing yourself spiritually. I don't know if I said that already. Like taking a spiritual bath or a head wash, or whatever is in your practice that is involving water and cleansing. Okay. You may want to pour libations. That's actually something I've been thinking about a lot lately. So that may be something that can like be physical with the water, right? In terms of using water as a metaphor, we can be in terms of flowing like water, right? In situations where we need to be more flexible or more malleable, right? Water can also be very still. And so there may be situations where you need calm and stillness to understand what's going on, or to gain clarity, or to, um, you know, hear or see things the way that you should this week. Within like rushing waters, or things moving really quickly, like I said, there may be things or ways in which the energy of your week moves really fast, or things happen really quickly, or things come at you very quickly, or things have to happen very quickly, right? So these are some of the associations with water that can come in terms of a metaphor figuratively. And then they talked about the associations that you have with water and how it can help. So for me, like I said, in all those different scenarios or situations, one of them may fit how you relate to water in those ways, right? It also may have to do with you drinking enough water, and how when you don't drink enough water, you're not nourishing yourself, but that may reflect in other ways that you're not nourishing yourself, similar to what we talked about in the task card. Okay. And like those being, reflective of each other. So these are things to think about in terms of the energy that we have for this week. Let's pull a few more cards to get a little bit more about the energy for this week. Okay, so I'm using the Healing Stones Oracle for a little bit more clarity on some of the energy. See if we get anything. Amethyst, dreams, losses, sorrow. Your thoughts are constantly moving in circles. Amethyst helps you to let go. Your intuition connects you to reality and creates mental clarity. So, again, we're talking about mental clarity. Um, there may be something within getting mental clarity that helps you not only get answers, but connect with your intuition, connect to messages that are trying to be given to you, to recognize and see signs and omens that are around you. Your thoughts are constantly moving in circles. Like we talked about the task, it may be that you're thinking about all the things that you have to do, or you're thinking about all of what's going on, or you're overwhelmed, or you're thinking about like how people don't help you, or how you don't have this, or whatever it is that's constantly in motion, right? So again, going back to the idea of water, we need to bring in the stillness. We need to bring in the peace, right? We may need to dive into it within the water metaphors, what's going on and why our thoughts are in motion, or answer some of these questions in the task card or in the water card that can help us, bring things to stillness. Or stop having things be so rushing, in terms of our thoughts and the things going on in our minds. Okay. The card on the bottom is turquoise, self responsibility. With turquoise, you realize that the outcomes of your actions are within your responsibility. You forge your own destiny. That includes saying no sometimes. So, again, bringing in that energy of balance, like I talked about. Okay, the flow of things, realizing that your actions are within your responsibility, and being able to manage the things that you have and things that you have going on is part of being able to be, self responsible. Okay, so this is what I'm getting for the energy of your week. Let's move into some specific things that may happen. Okay, so to get some of the specific things that may happen, I'm using the What's the Vibe deck. See what we got. It's a whole bunch of cards. We're going to take these and this. Let's see. Family, longing, consequences, healing. Okay. And then I'm going to get some clarifiers. Come on now, y'all. Let me shuffle. Okay. Okay, so starting with family, blood ties, inner circle, and the clarifier for that is the Three of Pentacles. So, in terms of this week specifically, there could be people that are doing work with their family. You could be doing work on your family. You could be trying to work with your family, making a plan for something. Y'all could be building some kind of business. It could be something um, about investments or something foundational. You could be making a plan to do something that's going to help you stabilize, something that's going to help either like people get jobs or people get money or make money or something like that, something where you're working together. In this case, family could be your family or your friend family, okay? Like your chosen family, or even like your work family. You know what I mean? This could be also a project you're working on with those closest at work, you know? Then on the other side of that, this could be doing work with your family, right? So not just your friend family, but your family. So this could look like doing ancestral work. This could look like doing work in terms of therapy and talking about your family, bringing up how you were brought up. This could be work in terms of doing work on your family or to somebody specific in your family if you're a practitioner. This could be doing work on your bloodline. This could look like a number of different things within that realm. So that's what I'm getting from that. So then we have longing, missing you, let's talk reunion. Then the clarifiers for longing are Ace of Pentacles and the Page of Wands. So because we had the longing next to the family card, it could be that somebody comes back in, somebody that you haven't seen in a long time, somebody who you are thinking about that you want to reach out to, somebody that reaches out to you, again, family or friend. It could also be outside of that. It feels like with the clarifier card, it feels like there are people who are thinking about doing something um, that you wanted to do before, or revisiting something that you wanted to do before, a scenario, a situation. It feels like either you didn't feel like you had the tools initially, or you were doubting yourself, or you didn't have the means at the time to do what you were trying to do, or the conditions weren't exactly right to do what you wanted to do. But it feels like even if they aren't exactly right now, you're still wanting to forge forward with this idea, or like I said, this situation, or in some cases, this person. It feels like you're ready to go forward with it. And there's some way that you'll either research it this week, or you'll move on it this week, or you'll talk to somebody about it, or you'll get more like passion to do it this week or something like that. But like it feels like very much that's something that like comes back around that you wanted to do, that you were talking about, that you used to do, or something like that, that you start to come back around to this week. Then we have consequences, bad choices, games, mixed signals. And we had like the self responsibility card with the crystal cards as well. So I just want to bring that back up. So there's definitely like the doubling down of what we're doing, our thoughts, our ideas, our actions being in some way really key this week. Okay. The clarifiers we have are the Queen of Swords and the Page of Cups reverse. So there's something this week about not being like dreamy in a negative way, right? Like don't allow your dreams to overtake your logic, if that makes sense. Like there's a way in which we need to be able to come and think from a logical space, even if you're thinking with your dreams in mind and your heart in mind. At the end of the day, the way that we boil down to a decision has to do with um like what's the best for us in the long run, what's the best for us right now, what's the best in terms of the smartest thing to do, the most logical thing to do within reason of your heart and your mind and these things. You know what I mean? Like, we're not going to make decisions based on what our heart thinks, or we're not going to make decisions based on a like fanciful idea or on a wish or a hope and a dream. You know what I mean? That in this case, in this week especially, would be a bad decision. Also, if you are being super hyper focused on something and not being able to weigh all your options, or not being able to see the forest from the trees, or not being able to um, kind of really assess a situation, that also would be a bad decision this week, or that's a bad way to go about things. So make sure that you're able to like assess everything, get all the details to things. Don't get hyper focused on something that looks really good or sounds really sexy. Pay attention to everything that's going on. Okay. And then we have healing, self care, meditation, introspection. And the clarifier for healing is the Emperor. So we talked about self responsibility again in the last card. And again, this to me speaks to specifically this week, us having to be very like intentional and actionable about our self-care, about the ways in which we are coming to clarity, about the ways in which we dive deep into the introspection of what's going on and why things are coming up, or what is the best way to go about something. Again, sitting in meditation, and because we have the Emperor, it has, to me, to do with being very authoritative about it, and having the leadership and authority within your own life, like the self responsibility card talked about. We have self care, self responsibility, right? It's all about you being accountable, you taking action, you making movements. And so I feel like in that same vein, you wanting your healing to get to this place of full authority, full power, full owning of your domain that the Emperor feels. There's the ways in which we need to heal ourselves that come up this week that we have to sit with. And so that's what I'm getting for the specific things that come up for us this week. Let's wrap your reading up with some words of wisdom. Okay, so the card that you have for your words of wisdom comes from the Elemental Alchemist deck. It was actually the card that was under the two cards at the bottom that you picked. And I'm going to read directly from the book because I love this book. And I think the message is always really good. Urge to destroy, violence. A warning, for you may become the target of that destructive urge. Oftentimes, this urge arises in anger, hurt, stagnancy, and times when you don't feel in control. It is human nature. However, it becomes negative and unhealthy to act on the urge impulsively instead of taking a moment to think, digest, and channel this urge into defending or creating. Giving in to the urge to destroy will invite unavoidable chaos into your life. Nothing will be the same. Keep in mind that in order to build and create, you must have a strong foundation. That is why ancestral healing is so important. The foundation of who you are includes those who came before you, and the future is built on the foundation of the past. It is also important to remember that the intention behind the thought matters most. Destruction for gain takes from others, and destruction for creation builds for others. Have you been feeling self doubt? Do you have any grudges against anyone, including yourself? What is the strength of your emotional foundation? Take action. Engage with paper, writing, drawing, coloring. So that was your words of wisdom, pile one. And this was your reading for this week. So thank you so much for reading with me. Please let me know how your week is. Please let me know how the message resonates. Remember to flow. Remember to, check your energies and be mindful of where things are coming from. If you would like your own personal reading, book with me at wildheartbotanica.com. If you aren't already, follow the channel, like the video, share with somebody who needs a message. Follow our podcast, Tiny Musings with T. Our May collective reading is out right now. Part two comes out in a couple of days. And follow me on on Instagram at Tiny Divination. So again, thank you so much for reading with me. I appreciate y'all so much. Please let me know how your week is. Please let me know how the message hits. Okay. If you have another pile, I will see you there. If you picked another number, I will see you in your pile. And if not, I will see you in our next reading. Welcome in pile two. Let's get into your reading. So, this is the pile you chose. Technically, this card is your words of wisdom, so we'll get into that later. These cards are your energy of the week. So, you have apologies. When you next find yourself about to say sorry for something, how can you instead say thank you for something else in that moment? What patterns do you notice in what you're apologizing for and what you're appreciating? And then you have the sidekick. Who is waiting to help you here? What must shift in you in order to receive this help? So, starting with apologies, part of the energy for the week is us needing to give ourselves grace, us needing to recognize where we're picking up things that aren't ours to pick up. Okay, that's where the, saying sorry for things all the time can come in. If you recognize yourself saying sorry for things that you didn't actually do, things that aren't your fault, right? If you're saying sorry for things that when you actually empathize with the person, and so you're sorry for what happened to them, but it didn't happen to you, recognize that, right? And maybe instead, um, where it says instead you want to say thank you, maybe you could say, thank you for showing up when something is so tough for you or when you're going through a hard time, right? If something is out of your control and you want to reframe the apology instead of thank you, you could maybe say how you feel, like a I feel statement, or you could ask them if it's okay. You know what I mean? Like these are ways to kind of reframe the sorry in different ways, right? Also, if you actually did something that you feel the person deserves an apology for, then maybe just apologize. Say, I apologize for yada yada yada. You know what I mean? If there's some way in which for the people in this pile, sorry is a thing, okay? And or gratitude is a thing, which we'll get into. But for the people that the sorry is a thing, in most cases, what I feel like is that people are saying sorry too much, right? You're using sorry and you're saying sorry for things that you didn't do or that aren't yours to pick up, right? For a few percentage of people, it may be that you use sorry too much in terms of saying sorry too much. You're always sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. But like the behavior isn't changed, or you said sorry so much that the sorry may not mean something, or it may be like vice versa. Like I said, in terms of like um what we just talked about, the sorry, but like people doing it to you, and that being something to recognize this week. Okay, so these are things that come up in terms of the energies. And then you have, how can you instead say thank you? So again, with the people with the sorry that are saying sorry too much in terms of picking up things that aren't yours, how can you reframe that to recognize your patterns, right? And instead of saying sorry all the time for things that you shouldn't be apologizing for, say thank you. For the people that are saying sorry too much and not actually apologizing, recognizing what you're apologizing for and saying it out loud, right? Apologizing and actually being apologetic and saying that what you did, having accountability, that's a thing. Okay. And then maybe too, what you're appreciating, so there's a way in which the what we're giving, how we're giving ourselves grace, how we're we pick up things that aren't ours, how we are doing things and not taking accountability, and or how we are not um allowing ourselves to reframe things, allowing ourselves to be in gratitude for things. These are all specific things in terms of the energies that we get for this week that come up with apologies. Okay. And then you have the sidekick. Who is waiting here to help you? So there's energy this week for you to have help, for you to ask for help, for you to receive help, for you to be able to talk to somebody about this, for you to maybe be able to apologize and have them receive that energy, or for you to be able to shift your relationship or the dynamic as a result of you actually sitting with this card, right? Outside of that, there may be people who have the energy of meeting new people this week, or connecting with somebody on a different level this week than you have before, okay? Or, as I said before, actually asking for help, actually realizing that there's more help around you, or that people, want to nurture you, or that people want to be there for you, okay? So all of this is energy that comes up this week with these cards. Let's see if there's anything else in terms of the energy. I'm going to use the Healing Stones Crystal Oracle. Praise. I think that's how you say it. Praise. Praise. Composure. Slow down. Anger and rage will only destroy yourself. Praise offers you profound inner peace and helps you find peaceful and conciliatory solutions. Its gift, trust in life. And then you have Moonstone. Live your femininity. Moonstone reveals your tender, intuitive, feminine side and allows you to do crazy things. So in the praise card, there's energy for us to come back into self, to ground into yourself, to move from your heart space, to move from spaces of love and kindness and gentleness that comes in a little bit with the femininity, reveals your tender, intuitive side, right? To stop and think or ponder or reflect before you move or before you make decisions this week, to use your intuition as well within your grounding this week. And it's funny because you have composure, but then also do crazy things. But there's a balance there. We have a balance within everything. You also have devotion within this Moonstone card, and trust in life. And we had gratitude a little bit come up in pile one. So that energy kind of comes up to me again with the devotion and the trusting in life with these cards. It's kind of like believing in the universe having your back, and being grateful in every moment that it does, kind of energy. So that's what I'm getting for the energy of the week. Let's move into some specific things that may happen. Okay. So getting into some specific things that may happen. Yeah, okay. I laughed at the apologies coming out again. Anything else? Not from here. Let's see. I'm going to get some clarifiers. Okay. No. Okay. Okay, so we have apology, arrogant, rash actions, insincere. Vacation, get away, relax, have fun. And then glow up, new opportunities, career, successful business. Starting with apology, we have the Queen of Cups and the Ace of Wands. So, again, in terms of specific things that may happen this week, there's definitely something coming up with an apology, right? We had apology in the first cards, and now we have apology again. Totally different deck, specific things that will happen specifically. You will be apologizing for something, somebody else will be apologizing for something. It may have to do with your rash actions, it may have to do with not thinking about things before you do things, like it said, rash actions. Somebody may be apologizing for lying, somebody may be apologizing for being insincere. Like it says, somebody, you or somebody else in all of these situations, may be apologizing for some action they took where they were just thinking about themselves. Okay, because we have the clarifiers that we have. Um, it also may be that somebody comes and apologizes for, like I said, something that they've done, but it may be something that happened a while ago and that they've been considering or thinking about, or maybe you've been thinking about going and having a conversation with somebody about some action that you take or something that happened, or in some way where you were, arrogant, or a situation that happened where you were kind of self involved or something like that, or vice versa. Okay. That's what I feel like with these cards. Then we have vacation, and we have getaway, relax, have fun, and the uh, clarifier we have is the world card. And on the bottom, because as I was shuffling to see if there was anything more, I was asking for the vacation card. On the bottom, we have the death card. Okay, and so in terms of that this week, I feel like um, it's definitely time for people to get away. I feel like, I don't know if people are going on vacations this week. There may be people going on vacations. It feels more to me like people need to start planning things. You need to plan a vacation from work. You need to take a vacation and literally start planning a vacation. There may be people that like take a last minute vacation this week, or like take a last minute getaway, or do something to have fun. There's ways in which people are getting outside this week, or like I said, doing things that are fun, doing activities, planning vacations for sooner than later, planning vacations after you haven't had one in a long ass time, really like pulling the plug on that, or really deciding like, this is something I want to do. Not pulling the plug. I'm sorry. That was pulling the plug. I mean, is that the right? No, I'm not. It's late, y'all. Anyway, like really doing it basically is what I'm trying to say. You know what I mean? But this is what comes up with both of these cards. Like, it's time. If you have been thinking about a vacation and you haven't done anything, it's time to actually start really planning it, doing it, making it a real thing. There are people that want to travel and see the world. There are people that just need to get outside of your comfort zone, be seen, do things, show the world where you are now, all of these different energies. So all of this comes up in terms of that this week. And then you also have glow up. So again, it's like this energy of shining, being seen, going out, seeing new things. Okay. So with the glow up, we have new opportunities, career, successful business. And the clarifiers are the Page of Swords, the Nine of Cups, and the Nine of Pentacles. So, in terms of specific things that we have this week going on with the glow up, there may be people that get recognition. There may be people that get shine. People may notice you this week. People may say, comments about what you've been doing, or your, look, or your work, or um, what they've heard about you. You may get opportunity in terms of jobs, or in terms of a business opportunity this week. You may have more customers this week. You may receive information that helps you get something done. In terms of our clarifiers, it feels like people may have been like putting your foot out, like putting your toe in the water, or putting yourself out there. You may want to put yourself out there more this week and see what happens. For those who haven't put themselves out there, you may start to see the results of that. You may definitely start to get the opportunities that you were looking for. You may start to be able to branch out and network, and get to know more people and get more opportunities from that. And like, there's something very tangible about it in the Nine of Pentacles, and something very fulfilling about it in the Nine of Cups. Okay, so either you've been doing it and you're seeing the results this week, and or it's something that you're going to start doing, that you, or you've just started doing, that you'll already start to see some of the rewards from, or you'll start feeling really confident about, in terms of this week. So These are the things I'm getting in terms of the specific energies for this week. Let's wrap your reading up with some words of wisdom. So, the card we have for your words of wisdom was actually the card under the two cards when you chose your pile or your number. And the card that you have is the ancestor. So, I'm going to read directly from the book. This comes from the Elemental Alchemist. Loved ones and those who carried your blood, who walked this earth before you, are reaching out. They want to connect. Do you hear their calls? Who better to guide you on this challenging, difficult, and enriching journey than those who hold you in their spirit and heart? Speak to them and lay your worries at their altar. Your ancestors are your biggest cheerleaders. Homage to your lineage as their sacrifices, known and unknown, have gotten you to where you are now. Work towards gracefully giving and receiving. Your community extends beyond the physical realm. Are you seeing the signs? When was the last time you spent time in nature? How is the health of your ancestral altar if you have one? Take action. Call out to invoke ancestral veneration. Speak out loud as frequently as you feel called. Ancestors known and unknown, who want wealth in all its forms for me and my family. Be with me now. Please guide me on my path with your wisdom and guidance. I am the root of your root, soil of your soil, bone of your bone, blood of your blood. Walk with me in the commitment to lineage and allow me to grow our legacy. I would just add in there, I always add benevolent. Okay. So I would say benevolent ancestors known and unknown. So that is your words of wisdom, pile two. And that is your reading for this week. So please let me know how this reading resonates, how the message hits, how your week is. If you'd like your own personal reading, book with me at wildheartbotanica.com. Follow the channel if you aren't already. Like the video, share with somebody who needs a message. Thank you again for being here for this reading. Follow me on Instagram at Tiny Divinations. Follow our podcast, Tiny Musings, so you can get our monthly collective. Part one of May is out right now. Part two comes out in a couple of days. And yeah, thank you again for being here with me. If you have another pile, I will see you there. If not, I will see you in our next reading. Welcome in pile three. Let's get into your cards. So, the first card that you have technically is your words of wisdom, so we'll get back to that. And the cards you have left are your energy for the week. So we have identity and pain. How are you relating to pain right now? With tolerance? With resistance? Self pity? What is your pain trying to teach you about how you have grown over the past few years? Where do you still need to grow to get where you want to be? So, some of the energies that we're dealing with this week have to do with who we are, what makes us who we are, how we identify, the ways in which other people identify us, if we relate to those ways, if we relate to how we used to identify, if that still is who we are going forward, who we want to be, the different iterations of us, right? And then within that, with the pain card, we have the energy of who we are related to the pains that we've been through, related to how we deal with pain, how we deal with um, others who cause us pain, right? How that pain is reflected in how we deal with other people who haven't inflicted pain on us, or how we deal with people every day, or how we internalize things, or how we, um, you know, deal or heal or move through things. If there are things that are right now holding us back from where we want to go because of things that we've gone through in the past couple of years? Or is there ways in which we're not recognizing how the lessons that we took from the pains that we have really been a catalyst and have helped us grow to new heights or new spaces that we're not really sitting in terms of the identity that we are embracing, or the identity that we are like speaking in terms of identifying as, like letting other people know who we are. So that's a little bit of what I get from these two in terms of the energy for this week. With the pain, there may be some things that cause us pain this week, some things that may cause us resistance or to feel self pity. We may be moving through feelings that come up from past pains, like there may be things that trigger us, or ways in which memories come up from things that happen that we have to move through this week. And with the identity, there may be ways in which we're questioning our identity or the identity of others, or that other people are questioning our identity, and we have to fully show up as who we are. Okay. Let's get, oh, you know what? I'm going to use a different deck. Let's get some more cards for the energy for this week using the Healing Stones Oracle deck. Okay, so we have Peridot. Tolerance. Allow mistakes. You are allowed to make mistakes. With Peridot, you forgive yourself, gain self worth, and become more open minded towards others. This stone allows you to be authentic. Rhodochrosite. Sensuality, eroticism. Self doubt, listless. Rhodochrosite helps you to dance through life. You feel happy, light, sensual, and you radiate sex appeal. Excuse me. And then fire opal, passion, spontaneity. You have no kick left. Opal spurs you to be a veritable firework of cheerfulness and creativity. Passion on all levels. So we have two different cards that have passion and eroticism. We're dealing with sensuality, sex appeal, fire energy, passion. So there's something to that may happen this week, okay, with the sensuality, eroticism, the passion, okay. We also have this energy of you have no kick left, so something to bring back a spark into you, something to bring back in your creative energies. I feel like that also identifies with your identity, like the things that you want to do, who you want to be. That could also be what helps to bring that spark back into you. You have this idea of self doubt and listlessness. And again, we talked about this pain and things that may be holding you back. So those things may be related, as well as allowing yourself to make mistakes and forgiving yourself from things that may happened in the past, from things that other people have done, from things that you have done. Um, and really allowing yourself to move forward with an open mind, being authentic again to the person and the places that you are in now and where you'd like to go. Okay, we have open minded and dancing through life. So there's this energy of flow and allowing this week. So this is all of what I'm getting from the energy of this week. Let's transition into some specific things that may happen. Okay, so moving into some specific things that may happen this week. Okay, starting with salty, bitter, angry, petty. We have Archangel Michael, protection, prevented from harm, divine intervention. Vacay, getaway, relax, have fun. Trapped, stuck, no options, unforgiveness, suffering and silence, unspoken desires, real feelings, broken dreams. Okay. So going back to the pains that we were talking about in the energy card, specifically, there's something again that's going to come up that in terms of pain that was something that caused you to feel bitter, angry, petty, some pain that was done to you because somebody felt bitter, angry, petty. You have the suffering in silence. So this may be something for some people that is something you've been dealing with for a long time, or something that happened to you that you never spoke about, or something that you have trouble communicating or being able to talk about. It may be something related to a plan that you had or something that you wanted to do that did not work out the way in which you wanted it to. It may be something that somebody did to you that you're not speaking on. Okay, right next to that, you have stuck, no options, unforgiveness. So, again, it may be something that you feel like is out of your control or something that you can't um, speak about in a way or bring up in the way that you want to, or um, like get to in the ways that you want to, that may happen this week, or vice versa. You may put somebody in a place where they feel like they're suffering in silence, they're trapped, and you may not recognize that. You then have Archangel Michael, protection, prevention from harm, divine intervention. So within all these things, it feels like whatever the pain is, if there is for people things coming up from the past, don't think about it as a loss or something that you didn't do or some mistake that you made. In some cases, it's situations where you were protected from something actually happening, or something that could have been a worse situation, or something that could have been a fucked up situation that you didn't even recognize as that, right? That's part of why you were taken away from that. And I feel like that's part of why the vacate card comes up a little bit. Also, with the vacate card, there's ways in which you need to step away this week. Like, there are some people that need to just take a break, that need to take time to themselves, that need to take a step back, that need to take a trip and travel and just to get your head together, right? It feels less like the have fun and more so like the getaway, relax parts of these cards. Okay. I want to keep with this deck. Let me see what else is coming up for this week. Okay. We have isolation, toxic reverse, intimacy reverse, running. Okay. So the isolation, rejected, left alone, self-inflicted, with that, with the suffering and silence and the trapped, there's a way in which there are people that may be feeling very isolated this week, people that need to speak up. You need to call on help, and or you need to, like, again, move away from the situation, running, escape, denial. You need to get yourself away from the situation so you can get clarity, or get yourself out of the situation, because it's like, I don't want to say it's no longer safe, but it's like no longer safe for you spiritually, in the sense of like it's too much. You know what I mean? It's become too much. Let me see what these are. We have legal, puzzled, boundaries, and nurturing. Legal, lawyers, court, paperwork. So that may be something that comes up this week. You may deal with court, paperwork, legal things. You may have some agreements to sign. You may have legal papers that you receive in the mail, or something to do with like authorities or rules and regulations that you have to deal with. You have puzzled, confused, perplexed, conflicted. I think that shows up a lot in the suffering and silence and the trapped and the other cards that we got. You may be conflicted also because we have this intimacy card over here reversed. You may be conflicted about something to do with your relationship. You may be conflicted about something to do with a relationship outside of a love relationship. It may be like um a familial relationship, it could be a friend relationship, but whatever the relationship is, it's a situation where you're done with kind of toxic energy, toxic drama, pessimism, people being negative, things like that. And there's ways in which this week you need to separate yourself, and or you will separate yourself, and you'll also put in boundaries. For some people, the boundary is the separation. For some people, it's like I said, speaking up for yourself and talking about, you know, what you feel, and how you need this shit to end or change or whatever that looks like, right? And then you have the mentorship, wisdom, giving back. And so I feel like there's a way in which people will receive advice this week, or there'll be somebody you're able to talk to that's older, that's wiser, that gets it. There may be a situation where you're teaching or giving advice to somebody. There may be a situation where you are able to find a mentor, you speak to an elder, you have a teacher that you find this week, or that you connect with, someone that you connect with that's in that realm, or that you are able to connect with in nurturing, teaching, give back kind of way. So this is what I'm getting in terms of the specific things that may happen this week. Let's wrap your reading up with some words of wisdom. So the card we have for your words of wisdom was actually under the first two cards we had for the energy of your week. And the message comes from the Elemental Alchemist. I'm going to read directly from the book because I really, really love this book. So, arrogance. Arrogance is fear based and works as a disguise that signals insecurities and a false belief of superiority. You are being called to reflect on your behavior, redirecting from an outward to inward focus. Often, arrogance operates as a defense mechanism, along with the desire to be seen. Make the active choice to accept and be comfortable with yourself, your path, and your abilities. Your walk and journey are your own and cannot be compared with or rated against anyone else's. Know that perfection is an unattainable facet and make peace with life being a continual space to grow. You will make mistakes and you will not always know the answer. Respond with honesty and take accountability for your decisions. Our evolution is our evolution is reliant on insight, guidance, experiences, observations, and interactions with others. Understand how others impact your walk and credit them. Step in humility, as there is always more to learn. Do you see others as equals or competitors? How do you react when others don't share your worldview? Are you good at being corrected lovingly by others? Take action. When communicating, reflect on the following. What are you assuming right now? Are you speaking with a desire to be seen or the desire to be heard? Are you pulling others up in conversation or are you trying to bring or keep them down? I feel like this word of wisdom completely encompasses everything that we talked about in this reading. So, this was your words of wisdom, pile three, and this was your reading for this week. So, thank you so much for reading with me. Let me know how your week is. Let me know what resonates. Keep your cool this week. Um, you already know. I was going to get into it, but we already talked about it. Anyway, if you'd like your own reading, book with me at wildheartbotanica.com. If you aren't already following the channel, follow me here, like the video, share with somebody who may need a word. Follow our podcast, Tiny Musings with T, to get our May collective reading. Part 1 is out right now. Part 2 is coming in a few days. And follow me on Instagram at Tiny Divinations. Thank you again for reading with me. If you have another pile, I will see you there. If not, I will see you in our next reading.